Hi there. I want to talk about a very important subject, and I want to talk about counterintelligence. This is a very, very important topic. This is a topic that I speak about, and I find it very, very interesting. And I mean, it came to me by surprise, really, but I know it wasn't by accident. I was meant to find this out through the internet a few years ago, and ever since I've been regularly talking about it, and because it's what I've discovered about it, and not many people talk about it as deeply as I do. I mean, you can look on Google. I have, and there's not many people that speak about this. A very grey area, and I've had soldiers on the internet, ex-soldiers, come to me who do this, and one lassie came to me who was ex, I think in the army, or might be still in the army, and I'm on her Instagram. She even had her uniform on, and she was one of that counterintelligence people, and she said that this is the strategy used for warfare, against people or countries or things like that, and this is the name of the game to control things. But the counterintelligence is happening on a lot deeper level than just different countries, because that's the illusion. See, the system at the top is really made up of money, the financial system. Now, the financial system cannot get there, would not exist itself. The financial system is really an idea. And that idea is one idea. So whoever created that one idea is the system. Right? And now, doesn't matter who that people are or who it is, whoever created the financial model, which is an idea, and that's one idea, that means it's one organization or one force that created this and that's doing it all. That means there is no separate countries. The system is one thing, and it's a separate thing, and it controls it all by finance. And the name of the game to control everything is counterintelligence. Now, if you control all finance, if you control the financial model, then you control, and if you can control that, then that will control everything else. And what's money? Money is really an energy. Everything goes by energy. And so this energy is this financial demonic energy is the real system behind it all, and that's like what they call the matrix, and that forms itself into what we see as governments and corporations. But really just everything comes from energy and feelings and awareness, and that is a distorted awareness at the moment, and that is what's manifested this system. So it actually, the deepest level of it is actually comes from our energy as a collective consciousness. But then the system forms itself as a separate entity, as a financial model. So the ones lower down cannot get near the financial system at the top. Because you don't have the money, because you're just like rats in a cage, not realizing that someone is actually controlling the cage and the door and outside and everything. But you can't get out of it until you are one of these elites with all that money. You see? And this is why money is the dark force that is doing it all. People don't understand about money. And they think that you're some crazy conspiracy theorist if you talk about this. But this is the way it is. You don't have to be very intelligent to look at money and say, right, this is running everything. It is running everything. It controls the world. It controls everything. The people at the lower end with no money never ever meet the people at the top with all the money, because the financial blockage stops that from happening. Right? That's the idea. And a bit like fame. And that's the idea of it, you see. So that you're in the cage and you can't get out. But the counterintelligence thing, how it works is it comes from the financial thing, system, and then that controls everything outward. Like, you don't become a famous singer unless a big record company with all the finance backs you. And they back you if you're singing the things that they think is modern. Now, what is modern music? It's songs about love being hurtful. It's songs at 440. That's where it really is. Films, about demons and stuff like that, and evil things, and it's all to do with psychological programming, and that's how you can. That's the only, because our natural state is more awake and divine, and like we were supposed to have had a golden age in humans where we were perfect and divine. And then this change, it didn't just change by accident, it was a perceptual. Obviously, perception doesn't change just like that. There would have had to been a perceptual takeover, something controlling it. And so that's this counterintelligence. And what would have happened is they would have changed the outward information, therefore changes everything. So that's why the name of the game for the system, the system at the top, is domination. That's the whole idea of war. The whole idea of war is so that you dominate that country and you take from what that country has and you take it for yourself and you dominate them. This is why countries are invented. You don't just walk into a piece of land and say, oh, this is called Scotland. You would have to dominate that piece of land so that you have the rule to do that. This is why I don't like the idea of countries, because I know what it is. I know you wouldn't just walk into a piece of land and say, oh, we're going to call this America now. No, you'd have to rule by violent force. And that force would have to be so brutal that people would just give in. And this is so, I've no doubt in my mind that the films about brutality of years ago would be true. Even though I think all history is engineered, that's another thing. Counterintelligence is history engineering. You've got to engineer everything if you're the system. So that's why counterintelligence is that. It's controlling all the information outward so that you think in a certain way and so that you perceive reality a certain way, because everything comes from your perceptions. Everything comes from that. And so that is the name of the game. If sorry, if you just having some tea there. But that's the name of the game if you are controlling things. Very important subject, this counterintelligence. Counterintelligence is like having television and then all these programs that are harmless, and then the one about the war and glorifying the soldiers for being murderers. That's the game. That's the game. That's why so there's a point to meaningless things out there. People will say, why is it so this crap program? Because they want you to see the real stuff they want you to see. Right? Because that's why televisions are in your home. That's why they're available. And that's why they've got sport, and people say, well, sport's not doing anything. No, sport's very good. And it develops people, but that's not why television's there. So that you watch that, but then it'll lead you to the other thing. Mind control is the name of the game if you control society. And the internet is no different to that now with Facebook. And Facebook and social media and everything centralized like that is an example of how easy it is for a few tiny system of corporations to control the masses. Look how many, like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's not many really on the internet that really control the internet. And it's all because they've got the finance. And the power that's given these organizations on the internet, the power is the financial system, the money. So money is the root of the system. And the financial system would have had to be, like I say, engineered by someone. It would have had to be an idea from someone. Now, that's one idea. If you have one idea, that idea comes from someone. It's only one person that can come up with one idea. So that means this system is one. It's one, right? It's not separate governments or anything like that. It's one. And this financial one system, whoever it is, whatever it is the thing behind the scenes and making us think crawl like little rats in a cage, thinking that we're actually free when we don't see the hand that's actually controlling the cage. That's what I've discovered, because I had this unexpected spiritual awakening, and I went in this conspiracy road because I thought, well, if this was, if I was not like that before, then why was that not the case? So I went in this conspiracy road, and counterintelligence is something that I came by accident, but obviously it wasn't an accident. But this is you know, a very, very important topic, and I just felt today I wanted to do a talk on this. I did try making a few videos of it, but it didn't really happen. I don't know why, but just the way it is sometimes. Meant to happen that way. And and that is honestly how you would. I mean, I think about this a lot, and I go over this a lot of how you would control society, and that many people agree with what I say. I mean, people that are even more well known than me, who talk about this stuff, say it's the same thing. That it's Donald Trump even came out and said that it was corporations that run the world that have not your best interest at mind, and that's the truth. But to be truth means you're being decent, and there's some things that Donald Trump does that isn't decent. So you can't trust them then. That's what truth really means. The truth means you're decent all the time with everything you're doing. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. This is that basically I speak the truth because I know that that's the right way, and I won't bow down from doing that. We live in a retarded society. I was saying that last night, that we live in a retarded society. Retarded is not a lot of people think it's politically incorrect. No, it's not. Political incorrectness or political correctness is basically to stop freedom of speech so that you can't talk about things that I'm talking about, because the system doesn't like this, because it doesn't like this stuff getting out there. Right? But retarded actually has a meaning. It means someone who's less advanced than other people. And it's not, when I say retard, I mean, it's not because it's through choice. It's through choice. Everything's a choice, right? Before my awakening, I was choosing to be asleep, and I learned that when you choose, whatever you choose is your reality. But the other problem is the choices that we get are manipulated by this system. So the outward choices are that. Everything's like that. It's like I said earlier. It's like rats in a cage and not realizing that there's a hand there, and perceiving the reality as it is, and thinking that this is it. And not realizing that there's a hidden force doing it all, and we're just like running along, not realizing that there's something outside doing this. But and this is David Icke did speak about in the 90s this, and he spoke about that what they wanted was a world government eventually, and he spoke about the climate change thing, and this is another thing. And this is another way to control humanity through counterintelligence, by getting our brains linked with artificial intelligence. They want this by 2030. The reason they're doing this, I believe, is because they know there's a global awakening going on. And they can't have that, because they know their game's over. Because if we return to our golden age or anything like that, then they know that that's too attractive to the people, and their little game would be over then. And so this is a panic. They know that they've got to rush this smart. This is why you're seeing all these electric cars and smart grid and all this smart stuff, and they're forcing it. In Denmark, you're not allowed to say no to a smart meter, right? It's all because it's all to do with a smart grid. So it's all counterintelligence, but they're trying. But that's. I just wanted to talk about this today. Very important to get this truth out there about counterintelligence, what it is. And that is the name of the game, because your perceptions is your reality. Your perception controls your behavior, your thoughts, your ideas. Everything comes from your perceptions, and how you perceive yourself, and it will be that's your reality. So counterintelligence controls that, and that's why this is the important thing for the system. Everything comes from top. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. If you're watching, you're meant to watch it. Everything falls in divine order. Thank you for watching.